Well, happy Friday, everybody.
Happy Friday.
It is a beautiful Friday, too. We have so much going on. And as you guys know, there's a lot going on in the world. And so we should all have plenty of stuff going on, right? Right.
Me?
You're supposed to say right.
Yes.
We're off to quite the start tonight, aren't we?
Uh-huh.
Let's get some hellos in. Rosie, I want to say hello to you, and then I'm proud of you. Banquet of Consequences says they have sheep now. Welcome in. Terminator, how are you? Harry Kent Hempworth, good to see you, my friend. One step closer, long time no talk. Just talked to you just a few minutes ago, huh? Gypsy 19 says, love the cover. Can't wait to hear all the good news. And I have some amazing news for tonight. Vicky Poland is in the house. How are you? The greatest name on the internet.
Half bubble up plum.
Is in the house. Good evening to you. Barbara, hello from Southern California. Yep. And Carrie Davis, who always has something smart to say. Good evening. Crunchy Mama Farms, how are you? The Rogue Food Conference is getting ready to take place not too long from now. They're down there in Texas. I hope everybody makes it. Redneck, good evening to you. JB, hello. City Greens, hello. Aljo, good to see you. Hakesraw54, good evening. The Famous Life with Mike and Jen are in the house. Jean Menke, hello, hello. Debbie S, hello. Stan Guthrie. Leela Eubank, good evening to you. My buddy Indiana's in the house. Ahoy to you, my friend. Matt, how are you, my friend? And you've got a bunch of good stuff coming up here in December, don't you, Matt? Skanes Girl, good to see you. LJC says, happy Friday, freedom, friends, and family. And AK Amber, good to see you and good evening to you as well. Mossy Oak Parrot is in the house. Right? I didn't say Patriot, right?
No.
I don't know why I want to read that Patriot.
You got it right this time.
I know, right? Matt Ham says, one, Bird's Eye Views in the house too. Good evening to you. Sam Russell, how are you, Sam? Good to see you. Matt says, yeah, buddy. Now, Matt is at least auditioning for an internship with my buddy Joe Salatin.
Oh.
Which is pretty cool, right? You see here, Pack Rat, good to see you. Hey, look at that. Oh, Meg Walker, how are you? Welcome in. Man, it just goes by so fast, huh? Tina, good evening to you. Look at that. There is Tia's. Tia is a promoter and does the Next Step conventions. And I spoke down there at that convention. It was a great convention. I learned so much from it. And there's so much going on. Tia, you and I need to catch up. There's a bunch of Earth Council stuff going on and stuff that would probably be right up your alley. But we should catch up sometime. But good to see you. David Strom, good to see you too. Let me see here. Sam says, I'm trying to get the mob together to remove the livestock ordinance in town at the end of the month. Good for you. You know, it's funny. In right here where we live, Sam, there's a lot of stuff going on. And there are now 5 YouTube channels covering what's going on in my little county. 5.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you know, it's crazy. The commissioners would say things like, well, I wish people would get involved. Be careful what you ask for, you know, because you just might get it, you know. Good for you, Sam. If I can help in any way, you let me know. And if I can broadcast something, you let me know. Tia says, hi, buddy. I'm doing a preparedness series. Well, cool. I'd love to participate if there's some way I can help you. Let's see here. Oh, Midwest Preparedness Project is in the house. And boy, do we have some announcements for you guys. And there's definitely some things I'm going to talk about in reference to that tonight. Katie in Texas, good evening. Easy, how are you? Oh, the instigator himself is in the house. Hippocrates Garden. Jules, good to see you.
Oh. Have you heard from him?
From who?
Hippocrates.
Yeah, I just did.
No, he says, have you heard from
Hannadu? I have not heard from Hannadu. I can reach out to him through freesteading. You probably already have, though. Tia says, not doing live events right now, just building my Rumble channel and creating content. Well, if I can help you create some content, you let me know. RN, good to see you. Let me see here. Okay, I think I'm caught up. Oh, my goodness. Look at all you fabulous people. A lot of good stuff going on. Okay, so a couple things real quick, laundry items. So today at 4 o'clock, I filmed with the Texas Boys, or the Fearless podcast. And they reached out to me. They found me through Billy Bond, and asked if I'd come in and talk about community because they said, and this is their words, not mine, but that I have a unique approach to community. And so we had a good long talk about that today, spent about an hour recording today, and I'm assuming that they're going to put it out sometime. But so that happened today.
So it'll be on their podcast.
It'll be on their
in order for
podcast.
us to be able to see it or hear it.
Yeah. So if you're curious, go over to Texas Boys on YouTube and tell them Tag sent you.
But in order to listen to it, they have to go to the podcast.
It's also on YouTube.
Okay.
They do it on both, so you can get it at either way. Hey, my buddy Mo.
That'll be nice.
My buddy Mo Engineer's in the house. How are you, my friend? Super good to see you.
Hey.
Sam says our mayor is currently going after 2 families each with a horse because they don't own 2 acres. She's also going after my next door neighbor's goats for the same reason. 300 to 400 people in the entire town. What a joke. Right? People just need to learn to mind their own business. If it ain't affecting you, butt out. Hey, there's Mandy Garrett. Mandy Garrett, how are you? Mandy is someone who's been around for a long time, and I was blessed one time to have breakfast with her in Tennessee. And I actually had an omelet. It was way too salty, but it was a good breakfast. Mandy says, hello, everyone. I'm blessed with 6 grocery bags of apples. Some are good. Some have bruises on them. What can I do with them? Oh, my goodness, everything.
Apple butter.
Yep. Applesauce. Right now, if it was me, it'd be apple pie filling or something.
Apple pie filling.
Yep, something like that.
Freeze them.
I bet you're going to get a bunch of answers to that. Yeah.
You can make a apple cider vinegar.
Yep. Yep. So what else? So I guess first thing on the list tonight, I want to show you guys. Hey, Helen, welcome. Good evening to you. Is that I had a very interesting thing happen to me this week.
You're moving me.
Huh? I move you?
Yes.
I had an interesting thing happen to me this week. So months ago, I had, you guys know who Jim Gale is. Jim Gale and this guy named Corey, who's a smart young man.
And didn't you do a video with Corey?
Yeah, I did a video with Corey, and I've done several with Jim. But anyway, they were in the middle of writing a book called Natural Intelligence. And they asked me if it would be okay if they quoted me or used some of my material in their book. I said, sure, knock yourself out. And there was a lesson in all of this, obviously. But so then this week, I get just kind of out of the blue, I get a text message that says, go to Amazon, here's the book. So apparently the book has been published. And if you look, there's my beautiful picture. I'm the second one over on the bottom row. You guys probably can't see it all that well, but so the book I've got published, and it was pretty neat. It was basically what it's about is solutions, different solutions from different people, because people like, you know, Jim Gale are in there, or Marjorie Wildcraft, Joe Salatin, Pat Militek, a lot of these types of people who offer different solutions to different problems in society. And so I thought I would show you guys this. This book is available on Amazon. But I'm telling you, I don't get paid nothing for it. I make nothing on it. I don't,
right.
I bought my own copy of the book, so you know,
yes.
so that I had it.
We haven't gotten it yet.
No. So it'd be cool. We're gonna add it to the bookshelf in the community building, and it'll just be another book, but it'll be pretty neat. But anyway, I
think it's really cool.
Yeah, I thought I'd show that to you guys. I was kind of honored.
And there's that picture again that you just love so much.
Which one?
The statue.
Yeah, so that actually, if you look at that statue, that it's made of stainless steel, and it's in Galt's Landing in Florida, right in the middle of a big food forest. And it's actually it's something you can sit there and stare at and contemplate a little bit, but it's pretty neat. But yeah, that actually comes from Jim's. Yeah. Hand
holding another.
Well, it's actually stopping a swing. Like if you were actually there, it's a hand grabbing a hold of another hand with a baton, and it's stopping violence. But this is a big kind of monument that goes on at Galt's Landing there in Florida. But anyway, super
awesome.
Yeah, super cool. So I just thought maybe you guys would enjoy that. Thank you, Jules. I'll put the link up there. Oops.
Oh, nice.
Hey, Debbie. How are you? Let me see here. Natural Intelligence. It's on Amazon. I'll leave that up for just a second in case anybody's interested. What else? So we told you guys last week we lost our dog, right? And so
we didn't lose him.
Well, he disappeared.
Came up missing.
Yeah, he came up missing, and he was gone. I think when we talked last week, he was gone 3 days at that point.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
I think it was 3 days he was gone. which was again very
Step out.
unlike him. But guess who came home on Saturday? So the day after our live, Mr. Panzer decides to come walking out of the woods. He wasn't in such good shape. So if I'm going to tell you this before I start sharing these pictures with the audience, that
You might want to look away.
is that if you have little kids that are watching this, or you're worried about that, I got some pictures of what he looked like, and then what all had to happen to him. But Panzer is back. And you know what's crazy? He's in great spirits.
Oh my gosh, he won't leave my side.
Yeah. But he absolutely made it back, and I thought it was super, super cool.
He jumped over the barricade I put on the stairs to get right here. I had to go get bedding to put on the floor so that he could get there, because I couldn't keep him from moving the barricades. He was like, he's like, I didn't go through all this to be by myself.
Yeah. So again, if you're squeamish or you got little kids or something, I'm just giving you a heads up before I can make this next click. But so this is him coming home. And if you look on the picture on the right, if you look really, really close at those puncture wounds, those are big teeth mark.
They're just holes.
They're just holes, and they're full of maggots. So when he came back, every step he took, he had maggots falling out of these wounds. And it was actually completely disgusting. But the only thing that I can figure is that he got attacked, he maybe got choked out, whatever it is, and he laid out there in the pasture
for days,
in the woods for days, because this takes time for all of this to happen. And
it's actually, so you can't, because of all the fur, you really can't see what's going on.
Yeah.
This was just we're at the vet right here. One of the vets, we called around to see where we could get him in. Thank God Lisa was here. I was up on the roof, or not. I was fixing to get up on the roof. I was up on the top of the ladder, getting ready to get up on the roof. And Lisa was standing at the bottom of the ladder and kind of being my spotter. And she goes, "Oh, Panzer's here." And I said, "What?" And she goes, "Yeah, Panzer's here." And I said, "Okay, what?" I said, what do you, she goes, "Oh, something's wrong with his neck." And I said, what do you want me to do about it? What do you want me to do? And she goes, "You need to come down and look." And I was like, crap. Okay, change of plans. Cause I was just getting ready to get up on the roof to finish the chimney. I have like this much left. And so she goes, "Oh yeah, that's not right." And so we got down, and it was just so hanging down. Just the one side of his neck was hanging down. And she's like, "Not a problem." She's like, "Do you have any of this?" And so I went and I got a squirt bottle. We started cleaning the wounds out. She's like, I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like holding his head up, holding his ear, because it was like part of his ear too. So I'm like holding it, and then I'm like looking away because like I didn't want it to squirt in my face. Like, gross. She goes to squirt, I have my mouth open or my eyes open, and I'm like, okay, so I'm like have my head looking away in case she squirts just right enough to get me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't want to look at that. And she goes, it's not a big deal. She's like, "It's not a big deal, Bethany." And just got right in there, started cleaning stuff out. And then she goes, she had a Q-tip like all the way in one hole. And she goes, "I cannot get this. We need to do something." So I started calling around to vets. I called my vet that we go to, and they said, "We don't have a doctor here today." This was Saturday morning, like 9 a.m. And I called the next two vets in line. One of the second one said, "Bring him in." We drove north, 8 miles? And they said, "I'm so sorry to do this to you, but we can't get you in." And I was like, "You gotta be kidding me." And she goes, "Your best bet is just to drive all the way to Topeka and go to the emergency vet there, because we have another emergency here, and it's going to take longer and now we see what you're dealing with. We can't get to you today." And actually one of the vet, the second vet that I called said like, "Oh, I'm sorry. We can't get you in today." She said, "Are you a patient here?" And I said, I've been to you once before, but it's been a long time ago and not for this animal." And she goes, I'm sorry, we can't get to you today. But if you're still dealing with this next week, give us a call and we'll get you in. And I was like, I'm going to go to somebody else before I come back.
Yeah.
Like, so the Topeka place was open. They're only open on Saturdays from like noon to midnight.
Mm-hmm.
So we get there 20 minutes early, 30 minutes early. We sit there and sit and wait. They finally come out and drag a sign out that says, your wait is at least 2 hours. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And it was a big COVID thing too. Like they had, you can't come in, you're sitting in your car, you got a sick animal or an injured animal, you're sitting in your car with it until they come out and get it and get payment. And then they will start working on your animal. But I drove around for they told me that it was going to take 2 hours to clean these wounds. I'm like, whoa, you guys are in and out, man. That's awesome. So I drive around for 2 hours. Like 3 hours later, I call. I'm like, I'm just checking in. How's it going? And they said, we're just getting ready to start. I was like, oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm going to go home. You go ahead and call me when like there's an update. And they had given him like a couple of bags of IV fluid because he had been laying out there for days. He was severely dehydrated and then obviously needed several wounds cleaned. So this was his neck. And
you know what I found so amazing about it is that he had the resilience. And someone had made the comment about, Matt made a comment back here about resiliency. You know, he laid in a field for several days, woke up and said, I better go.
Said, I'm hungry.
Yeah, I'm hungry. I probably better go home. But I also want to shout out too, with what Jen said here, is that Lisa is so calm from her years in nursing. Silver lining, for those of you who know her, is a wonderful lady, and she absolutely just jumped right in to try to help. But in the end, he had to go to surgery.
Well, had we'd had like a setup like that, she could have totally have done that. I absolutely know she could have.
Oh.
This is what the this is not the end result. This is
him coming home.
Next step.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he had the neck issues. Then he had 11 staples on his shoulder blade, which you can't see in this picture. And then the leg is his hip. So he had 6 drain tubes in
his neck.
No, those go all the way through, actually. So that top one and that bottom one are connected.
Oh, they're one.
That's one.
Okay.
They cut him all the way down.
Yeah.
And then they used staples and sutures to.
Yeah, he's got to have 100 staples in him.
Oh, at least.
Yeah, he's full of it. But you know what? His will to live was big, and he came home.
And these like the leg ones are all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
So the tube goes all the way through. And he has quite a bit of drainage still on the top one, the neck one. The bottom one looks like it's healing pretty darn good.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, Zach, welcome in, bud. Good to see you. Yeah. So anyway, he did come home. He got his butt kicked. And I'll tell you guys this is a good lesson for older men. In this dog's case, to be a 12-year-old boxer with no teeth, you probably shouldn't be picking a fight with an animal bigger than you.
He does not have any teeth.
Yeah. David said, could they determine what attacked him? So the vet, this is kind of a little bit of a mystery. The vet said it was a single animal attack, right?
It looked like it was not multiple.
It was not multiple attacks. But the thing that I don't understand about it is, why did they eat him? Because had it been a mountain lion, right? Had it been something like that, I would think they would have just eaten him.
Unless it was another dog.
Yeah. Or maybe our livestock guardian dogs came to his aid and chased something off. But they say it was a one attack. So if it was a one attack, it's got to be a badger or a mountain lion or something like that he got into a fight with. Todd, welcome in. But he is super lucky to be alive. But I'm going to tell you something. Luck is part of it, but his drive to get home, I think, was a lot of it too, because by the time he got home to the time, he was taken to the hospital was super quick. And
and he just walked up like it was no big deal. Like he wasn't dragging.
Yep.
He wasn't.
Yeah, he was wagging his tail when I walked up to him.
He wasn't. I don't know.
No, but the picture, so you guys know, this is a picture of him today. And he today was laying out. You can still see some of the stitches and stuff, but he was laying out in the field next to his mama while she was harvesting out of the garden. And he's not perfect.
No.
He's got a long recovery ahead of him, but he's walking out. He's enjoying his vitamin D and laying there with his mom. We got to keep an eye on him because he can't be roughhousing and stuff.
Yeah, no boxing.
Yeah, he can't be a boxer. He's got to be a lap dog for a little while. Yeah, pretty neat, I think. Jules says, I'm just guessing, but it could be that he sensed what was out there and took off after it to protect you two. And maybe, we don't know. B let him out Wednesday morning and he just split. And then here we were Friday doing the live saying we were missing our dog. And then Saturday morning he comes out of the woods. And so it was 3 days that, and it had taken a while for all those maggots to grow. And like I said, and all of that. So I don't know what he got into, but I hope he learned his lesson. Although it's funny, B said the same thing. And I said, you clearly know nothing about boys. All the times when I was a young man, if I got punched in the mouth, it never really deterred me from it again. It almost made you want to go,
is that all you got?
Is that all you got kind of thing? Yeah. M, welcome. So anyway, happy boy is home, and we are super excited he's home. Hey Tamber, how are you? Welcome in. But yeah, sad boy, that looks awful. You guys should see all the staples on his neck.
Yeah.
We did name him Tank for a reason, as Jen said. Named him for a tank, and evidently built like a tank. Yep, he is definitely a Panzer. And guys, in his youth, and I know, we weren't doing the channel in his youth, but man, that guy would go out and kill owls and coyotes. And I mean, he was just a warrior. But the problem is he's 12 years old with no teeth.
When we got him, they named him Prince. Mm-hmm. Isn't that crazy?
Mm-hmm. Who did?
The
owner,
the breeder.
The breeder we got him from.
Was like, we call him Prince. That's what we've been calling him.
No, he's Panzer.
We're not going to call him Prince.
Yeah. So we've had him a long time. He's been here a long time. And the good news is he ain't done yet. Storm Rider, welcome. Good evening to you as well.
He is not done yet.
Yep. So where there's a will, there's a way, I think, is the moral of the story. And, he had more will, to live. And so he's back with his family and he's happy as can be. And I'm splitting cheese sticks with him every day.
He's eating off off your plate.
Nurse Wang, welcome in too. Nurse Wang says, so glad he's back. Not the adventure I was hoping for. Yeah. Wasn't what we hoped for either. I didn't really want the bill. And, B called me when she was down there and she said, hey, do we want to put him down? Because it was a very expensive surgery. I'm like, but he's got a really good quality of life still. He still runs, he still plays, he wags his tails. He'll, eat cheese sticks with me. Let's just do what we got to do.
And he's right back at it.
He's right back at it. Yeah. Well, he has had many a cheese stick since he's been home.
Oh, yes. I'm sure you're feeding him extra.
Well, yeah, you've got to heal,
Yeah. I don't think that doesn't make him heal.
Gregory, welcome in. So anyway, what else is going on? So we're at the end of our harvest.
End of our growing season.
Yeah, we're at the end of it. And so B was working on the last harvest today. Mm-hmm. Getting just whatever was left out there that she could get picked up because it's starting to get cold. We had a night this Tuesday, it was 29 degrees at night here. And so although that's a little bit odd here for this time of year, it's still getting into the 40s every night and 50s. So it's starting to get cold. So we're done with the garden. So I thought I'd show you guys some pictures. Pictures. Packrat says, sounds like Panzer is a North American chow hound. He's something. He's a full-blooded boxer, but he came off a working farm out on the other side of Kansas. So let me see here. Jen says, who would I let in and out of the door 47 times an hour when I visit there? That's Panzer.
That's him.
Yeah.
He's like, are you gonna? If he wants to be with you, so yeah. Like if you don't go out, he'll go out, but then he wants to come right back in.
Just wherever you are is where he wants to be. He has spent his whole life serving, and we're going to make sure he has the best days of his life, whatever it is that he has left. All right. So you guys know the B-Mobile. If you look on the front, I put that rack on her little machine.
And I am using
it. You like it?
Those mineral tubs fit perfect in there. It's the exact circumference.
You like it?
Yeah, I totally filled it.
I would totally worry about you running into things.
Oh, I'm just going back and forth up the driveway
Yeah.
though. I'm not really going in and around tight areas.
Yeah.
I didn't. So like, if that wasn't on there, I might go in the garden and drive,
Mhm.
in and around those arches.
Mhm.
But I didn't. It was those cucumber like fruit, whatever they are. They are heavy. I had over 200 of them, so I had to carry the crates
Mhm.
over to the driveway, which was not fun. But
Yep. But not a bad buy for $10.
no, I love that. And there's no pin in it, but there is a hole in it. So
Yeah.
technically I could put it on the back
Yes.
and then pin another trailer to the back of it because
Yes.
there's a hole
Yes.
inside the hole.
Yeah. You can do all of that.
Awesome.
You like that?
I love that idea.
Yeah. Tamara Scanes is in here.
I could like piggyback extra
Yeah.
cargo areas. It was just, it's when the water tank is in the back of the Kubota, it takes up the area. So
Yep.
Yeah, so right in here, this the
Last of the peppers.
6. Well, actually, there's some up there. I just didn't have time. I had to get down here and get dinner going. But the 6-gallon bucket are all good. The mineral tub bucket are squishy because they went through a frost.
So those are going to the chickens.
Those all went to the chickens.
Okay.
That mineral tub.
Yep.
And there's probably that many more up there. The jalapenos that are up there look like they're in better shape. They look like there's more that are not squishy.
And Gregory said they had 23 degrees the other morning. Yeah, our growing season is done, but it's good because we get a break, and it's nice to get a break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we ate from it, so we got a lot of other people ate.
Yeah, we had
from
dinner
it,
tonight
too.
with them.
Yeah. These are those like cucumber like fruits that I don't like them.
You don't like them?
I don't
We've never
like
grown
them.
these before. This was the first time for us.
This was the first time. You got some seeds, and I tried them, and I was not a fan of them.
Mhm.
The chickens really like them. The cows really like them. They don't mind if they're yellow or green.
The cows just eat them whole?
They sit there and chew on them.
Do they?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I go in there and I step on them so that they're broke open or cut them, but the cows can do the same things. Freeman was over there like galloping in the peppers. And then when he took off, one kind of like went with him, like he kicked it and it went with him and it like spooked him. A bell pepper.
Yeah,
I wish I would have gotten that on camera because that would have been
one step closer says jelly melons.
Jelly melons.
Yeah. But she did get all of them harvested, right? And I'm assuming the big ones, the yellow ones, are going to the
chickens.
The chickens and
So
the cows. And
I
stuff.
put one of those buckets in the. It's not a bucket, but crate. I put one of the top crate, the yellow crate, in the chicken coop or chicken yard. Now I have the 2 green crates underneath, and then the bloody butcher corn.
Yeah.
That I was able to get probably enough seeds for a couple farms.
Yeah. And B does a really good job of growing seed. I think you kind of got that as you were doing it from the Buffalo Seed Company, right? Kind of got the love of that.
Well, yes, but I got these were not, but this was not the bloody butcher corn was from Big Kid, I think.
Oh, yeah.
It was not from Buffalo Seed Company.
Yeah, that comes from one of us, which is pretty cool. Let's see here. Are they an Asian type cucumber? I don't remember what their name was. Do you remember?
It's like it starts with a K.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say it though.
She'll
grew 'em.
she'll look it up. We'd never grown them, and I am notorious for in the middle of the night while B is sleeping and I can't sleep, I shop for her, don't I?
Yes.
And so she'll just a box will show up with bulbs, or will show up with just something that I think's cool, and then I get mad when they don't get planted, and then I have to look back at myself and say, then you're the one that ordered them, you know.
Well, and I like this. I grew them here. It's I grew them KIW.
Yeah, I'll type it in there.
I grew them, and I don't like them.
KIW
ANO Kawano.
Oh, come on. There we go. Spelling is such a cool thing. It's going to post it there for you. Here you go. That's what kind it is, Gregory. Yeah, Tamara says she planted broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, and mustard a couple weeks ago, and sweet peas this past week.
You know what? This is when they're orange.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't try them when they were orange.
Mm.
It says melons, jelly.
And jelly melons. That's what one step closer said. Yeah, it was pretty exciting. There's the last of the tomatoes.
There are so many little tomatoes on there.
Mm-hmm.
There are hundreds of little tomatoes on there. And the green ones, there are quite a few that are still pretty firm, but they're they're small.
Yeah, but it's freezing, so it's time to end it. And we could plant a winter garden. I don't think we're going to, are we?
I was thinking, well, I wanted to put I wanted to put some lettuces and stuff in the greenhouse, but I've got that gaping hole where rats come in, and I don't want to be sharing my food right there with the rats.
Mm-hmm. Gypsy wants to know if they're taking the place of squash.
They should.
Hey,
I wonder what all I can do.
You had another picture. What was that?
Oh, that's the cilantro coming back in.
Growing back in?
Oh, because you cut it off. It was up there. The picture. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. It goes up. You cut the picture off. But anyway, I could take the weed eater up there right now and cut that brown stuff and harvest that. Cilantro. Yeah, the little pieces.
Yeah. I think we're good for the year. I would not grow one if I was you, but.
Well, the seed is already sprouted.
Yeah, no, what I'm talking about is just planting lettuces or broccoli. Right now. Because we still have a lot of stuff. We got sweet potatoes to harvest still.
Potatoes, onions.
Yeah, there's still some stuff up there that we got to get out of the garden. But it's good, right?
Yeah.
Did you have a good gardening year, do you think?
Yeah, I did, I think.
Yep.
My goal was to make some food and then to share with others, and we did that. I got 70 something jars of salsa. Yeah. That should last.
And some spaghetti sauce or tomato sauce, right? Did you actually make spaghetti sauce, or was it just tomato sauce?
No, I made spaghetti sauce.
Okay.
I took the items and cooked them down and then pureed them and put them in there.
Okay. Well, you guys remember how we had the Panzer ordeal, right? So Saturday, I had a big old plan. I have to share you guys my plan.
Yes. Saturday, you had a big old plan.
So I had been telling Silver Lining and B that they owed me the day on Saturday. They were working for me that day. I had stuff to get done. And so the reason why I wanted them working for me is because I needed the community building cleaned up, because we were going to have a smaller community get together on Sunday. And so I wanted to spend Saturday getting it all picked up, cleaned up, all the sawdust, because I'm working down there. So, it's kind of a construction zone. And then Panzer comes home. So the girls spend their whole day Saturday
with him.
Yeah, with Panzer. And so, I'm kind of getting stressed a little bit, like, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? But I figured I'd show you guys it worked out all okay. Oops, wrong one.
Did you think we were going to leave you hanging?
I thought I was going to do it myself, be there till midnight. So we just set up again. We wanted to just have a little get together. The community building's not done.
It is not done.
You guys can see I don't even have insulation in the walls, but we had some time. Hey, Nurse Wayne, good evening to you.
Or the ceiling.
And I'm glad you got to drop in. But we did get to set up some tables. And again, we had a small community get together to talk about some of the local things that are going on here. And so I had to put all my tools away and everything away that we were working on, and, get some tables in there so that,
we can sit down and everybody brought their own little meal and their drinks. And we had a gentleman who allowed us to use his tables and chairs, and we set them up and had like 40 people. Yeah.
Hey, Squatchy, welcome in, bud. So this will be the community building. Again, we just got to keep plugging on it. I've got lots to do. Mm-hmm. I'm starting to lay insulation. I've got most of the electrical ran. So it's really a matter of getting the rest of insulation in, getting the metal in, getting the drywall in, finishing the cabinets. I had to build a bunch of cabinets and, still doing, lots of that kind of stuff. But the good news is, in a pinch, we have a place we can meet, right?
Yeah.
Because it's at least.
And it's out of the wind. It got cool that night. It got chilly. Mm-hmm. By the time we were driving home. But
did you order me that stove, by the way?
No.
Oh. I thought when I said, "Hey, babe, order me that stove," that meant order it.
Like, stop what you're doing and order me a stove. I was doing something else. That just because you bark in order doesn't mean that the whatever I'm doing has to stop.
Well, you guys heard that, right? Let's see here.
But I told you to order it.
Yep. Yep. Thank you guys for all of the wonderful compliments. It is a ton of work, but we are getting it right.
And it is taking a lot of your time.
It takes a lot of time. And Tamara says that we need a margarita machine. Well, we actually had someone in the community say we needed a margarita machine, to which then I said, I volunteer you to get a margarita machine, and to which this person agreed. So we actually have one coming, I think. Gregory says ceiling fans. Yeah, there's 3 of them in here.
And I think we're doing 4 in there.
3 or 4? One of them.
There's 3 on the outside and 4 on the inside.
Yeah. 3 on the outside, 4 on the inside.
Because we're putting a stove in the center.
Yeah.
And so if we put 2 on each side to try to get that circulated.
Hey, Zeg, what's going on, my friend? Zeg's in the house. Jen says, wait, what? Barking doesn't mean do it now? I'll let Mario know. See?
Yeah.
See? So her expectations would have been the same as mine. Thank you, Jen.
No.
Yes. Thank you, Jen. Yeah. Tamara said, I'd buy one if I was up there. Yep. And we'd let you. So anyway, so that was our little get together. And again, we were just talking about some of the things that are going on locally. 40 people came. So not a ton, but a little bit for sure. And it was a lot of fun. It was a very well done get together. I don't know if they want me to mention it, so I won't. But the people who were kind of in charge of the meeting did a great job. Lots of conversation. I think we made some ground, got lots of action items out of it. And so I would give it a big thumbs up. Seems to me like we did a pretty good job.
I thought so.
What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, Bird's Eye View says, thanks, Tag and B. We appreciate you and love how the community building is coming together. Yeah, I appreciate you guys. And thanks for leading. Tamara says it looks even better with people in it. Yeah, it was funny. Like if you guys see the lights up there, those are just string lights that I ran to my portable solar generator, because although the solar system I have installed, I only have 4 outlets hooked up. I don't have any of the lights in it yet. And so
You're not using any of the electricity from that yet?
No, I have 4 outlets where I can charge batteries, but I don't have any lights.
Okay, so you have used it.
I have used it, yeah. But this is the little the bug out, the little solar generator.
The Summit, not the Summit.
No, the bug out, the big one.
It's called the bug out.
It's called the bug out, yeah.
I thought all of them started with an S.
Terminator says, can't wait to visit and see all and the community building. Yeah, we'd love that. Yeah. So anyway, pretty cool. It's cool to see those kinds of things. Oh yeah, one last picture. It's getting more and more closed in. That's the community building from the outside. As you can see, all the metal's on. It's a totally closed in for the winter. So the inside needs, as I said, to be insulated. And
yeah, I was gonna say you need insulation though, because it gets cold in there.
Yep. So
but you got the dirt all brought up to it, so there's no tripping hazards.
Yeah.
Right at the front door.
Yeah. This is what.
That's the bug out.
Yeah. This is what This is what I've built the entire building with. Is this little solar generator. Because it'll charge all my batteries. It'll run everything. It'll run me lights. It'll do those kinds of things.
Why do you say it's solar? It doesn't have solar on it.
Well, okay, so
solar.
It's solar because you can plug a solar panel into the back and charge it.
Oh, okay, yes.
It's just a big battery. You can also plug it into a 110 outlet and charge it.
That's what we did. We brought it to the house and plugged it in.
No, this one, when I plugged it last, I plugged it into the big solar system at the community building and charged it.
So I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So you've charged it since you've taken it down there. Well, that makes sense because you've had it down there for a month.
Hey, Yoda, how are you? Says it was great, yet very cold. Could just be me. Yeah, a lot of people said it was a little chilly. I'm working on that. We'll solve that pretty quick. But yeah, but anyway, it's nice. Hey, I want to tell you guys something real quick. So this is a good spot. I was kind of waiting for people to show up before I told you guys this. So I have some announcements to make that I think are super, super exciting. So on May the 9th and the 10th, in the spring at the Midwest Preparedness Project, we will have Joe Salatin down to do some classes for everybody. And so people can learn from him. I don't know, I'm not going to mention a name, but I have another person that's on the Earth Council with me. You know, I serve with Joel and some other people that we're talking to about coming down and doing a live class. But until until I get Bobby and Patrick's go ahead to say it, or to say that they're going to go that way. Because again, they run it. I don't, I kind of just voice my opinion sometimes, and that's about it. But anyway, we have another, I think, really cool one. I'm hoping that we can get put together. They're going to do the Hometown Homesteader event again, which was a big hit, but this time it's going to be a little bit different. It's going to be most of the newer homesteaders.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, I do too. Instead of the ones that have been at it a little while, and so that they can talk about the lessons that they're learning, from not just from the community, but from their own experiences and what's hard, and those kind of things. So I'm really looking forward to that. I do have, like I said, one other that comes from me, but there's two other really big names that they're going to announce in the coming weeks, but I don't feel comfortable announcing it because I don't have approval, and I don't want to say something and then
be in trouble.
Bobby hit me upside the back of the head and tell me what was I thinking. So I'll wait on that. But hopefully in the next live, I'll give you guys those other two names. But we do have Joe Salatin. He is confirmed
That's
that
awesome.
Yep, that he will be here, which is super, super nice. And maybe some other little special things that go along with that. But we'll just see how that goes. Yeah, see, they're already shushing me. Look at that. Midwest Preparedness.
Oh, they did say shh.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. So it'll be down to be super, super cool. Redneck says, thanks for volunteering us. You get it? They're one of volunteering. I did. They're one of the new homesteads that are going to be on that panel. You're very welcome.
Can't wait to see what you guys got to say.
Yep. Yep. Gregory Kissel says, does the Earth Council have a webpage? No, they do not. Not right now.
As I said, they should maybe.
No, well, but not yet. So, guys, we're in the middle of forming a nonprofit foundation called the Shared Earth Council, and that's in legal right now. And we actually just met on it this last week. I think I'm just a couple weeks away from being able to launch it, but we're actually going to get it all built, and we're going to have a big public launch of the foundation at Joe Salatin's farm in June. And both B and I will be there. So that's where they're going to officially announce that whole foundation and all of that kind of stuff. So assuming that the country makes it that far, that's where we'll be. Todd says, yeah, tag. Shh. Yeah, Hippocrates says, I hope it's not Kamala.
No.
Actually, I'd do that in a second. If I could figure out how to get her on stage at the Midwest Parents Brothers, I would do it in a second.
No.
Yes, I would. Kidding me?
I don't
That'd be an amazing experience. I would love every bit of that. What do you think, Midwest Preparedness? Would you guys? Well, I guess we're going to Virginia for our anniversary. See, there you go. Yeah, and I will get you guys more details about when we launch it at Salatin's place. It's going to be a big deal, and there is a whole bunch of big names. They're going to launch this all at the exact same time. So it'll be a lot of fun. I'll keep you guys posted. I know that they will be in June next year. I don't know the exact dates yet, but we will absolutely do it. Let's see here. Matt says, if Wyatt is selected for the stewardship programs, he will be at Polyface in June. Yes, he will.
Right.
Yes, he will.
June, that's our 20-year anniversary.
Yeah, that would start a fight, Tag. What would start a fight?
Having heels up at the Midwest.
Oh, but it would be such an experience. That's what I'm saying, Yoda. Just the experience. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, Midwest says, yes, she'd be so much fun. Yep. If so, don't use your good backdrop. Yeah. Yep. Good stuff. Zeg says, doing good, Midwest Parent. Okay, sorry, you guys are talking to each other. They will roast her. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It would be just a good experience because we would ask her questions that I think she may have a really hard time answering, but she'd have a teleprompter, so it'd be fine, right? Yeah, Gypsy just said, yeah, can I run a teleprompter? Yeah, I want her and Yoda on the panel 10 minutes. Yes. 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 This would be just so much fun. I think we should absolutely do it. I think it would be super exciting. But there is, guys, big news coming down the pipe about the Shared Earth Foundation. And we have some huge donors. They're going to donate huge amounts of money so that we can go tackle some of the world's problems. I'm not really sure why I'm involved. I'm not really sure why they think I should be involved, but I'm thankful and honored that they want me in the fight with them. And we'll kind of see what happens, kind of as time goes on. Mossy Oak Parrot says she could participate in the kids' events and lose. Was LJC in here? Oh, there you are. How you? Oh, yeah, you're right. You were here earlier. That's right. She says just add alcohol. Yeah. Yep. And a special set of earrings and some teleprompters, and life would be good, right? And, yep. Going for round one in this corner. Yeah. Yeah. And David says it is not nice to pick on the mentally handicapped. No, it's not nice. What else is going on in the homestead? One other thing I wanted to tell you guys about. So today, man, I had quite the day today. So I got up this morning, and what was my first meeting?
I don't know. It was 10 a.m.
So I had a meeting this morning with one of the largest generator manufacturers in the world this morning in reference to EMP Shield and working on a partnership. I got done with that meeting, and
Wow.
I had a Freedom Farm Academy meeting. I got done with that meeting, and then I rushed out to my buddy Joe's house, and Joe's a superhero and totally my buddy, to pour some concrete. I thought I'd share that with you guys. So this is what they were going to pour. It was 10 yards, not a huge job. They're adding a bathroom. They finally got their lagoon in and all that stuff, and I'm not going to ruin it because they'll post all about this whole process. The truck was supposed to be there at 2, and I was going to be in a hurry because at 4 o'clock I was on a podcast with the Fearless podcast for the Texas boys, so I didn't have a lot of time. But anyway, the truck then called them. They called, and the truck said, "Okay, we'll be there at 2:30," and then they said they'd be there at 3. And so basically, I drove all the way out there to hang out with my buddy. I never even got to see the concrete get poured.
They weren't there yet.
They weren't there when I left, because I had to rush back home in order to get that done.
Pour done?
Look at that. It's not that. This is a picture before they started finishing it, but they did get the concrete in there, which is super exciting. I was not there to help, but here's the great news: is that we've poured enough together that they did it. They did it.
They knew what they were doing.
Yeah, they knew what they were doing. They didn't need me. I was just there to be free labor, which is a pretty cool deal.
And they are one step closer.
They are one step closer. That's right. I hope she does a podcast with Joe Rogan, because he fact checks. Yeah, I think that they should do a podcast with Trump and her, and not tell either one of them that the other one's coming. I think that would be funny.
You know that she wouldn't do it. She would leave.
Yeah, probably. But anyway, so lots going on. I'm sorry, I've just been yapping. What do you got?
No, that's okay.
Got anything on your list you want to talk about?
Well, we talked about that. Talked about me not getting the chimney done. I was hoping maybe you would help me get the chimney done. Now that my help left.
Yeah, but Lisa is such an awesome lady, and she's such a big help in so many ways. And the Panzer thing totally derailed the process of getting the community building ready, which led us to be scrambling, delayed the process of the chimney, but it healed Panzer, and he's home, and he's happy, and he's safe. And so if I could do it all over again, we'd have done it the exact same way, right?
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, if we had to do it, I'd rather him just stay home.
Yeah, but baby, at the end of the day, a dog is going to be a dog too, and you can't just put him on a chain and leave him in the house the whole time. He's a boxer. He needs to be out there in the woods, and it's what they do.
Maybe we get the fencing. Once we get the fencing up, then they won't be able to get out and do things that they do. Yeah,
she's talking about the perimeter fencing around all 40 acres. So,
which has been a chore.
Yeah, yeah, you think? Especially because you ain't got to do any of it.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
But
I've pounded my fair share of posts.
Yeah. So life is good. Lots coming down the pipe. I'll keep you guys informed. The Shared Earth Council the Shared Earth Foundation is a wonderful thing, and there's going to be some good stuff. There's talks with RFK. There's talks with all kinds of big players out there, and we'll see what happens. We'll see in the end, what happens to all of it. But make America healthy again is something I can absolutely get behind. I hope they really do it.
Right.
But I would also, argue make America just again, and I would also argue, make America, honorable again, and make America, smart again, and make America
make the West wild again.
No, I like that though.
Make the West wild again.
Yeah. So back to Joe Salatin real quick. I'll have him on the show here pretty quick. We'll have a good talk with him, which would be pretty cool. He told me to come on anytime just to let him know. And so that'll be pretty cool. I'm very excited about him coming down and being able to touch our community because I think he can absolutely benefit us in a lot of ways. Easy said it's been a long week. Good night, y'all. Easy, you have a great evening. Yep, and I hope to see you in a week. There you go. There's another good one right there. Jen says, make America independent again. Yep, make America free again. Right. And I hope they really go and take on all of these issues. I kind of doubt they'll be able to, but I hope they do. I'm looking for a new puppy companion, hoping to find one. Yeah, I've got some connections up in Canada.
You looking for an indoor dog? You looking for an outdoor dog? Like a guardian dog?
She's got a homesteading group that she's part of up there. I think they ought to be able to help you easy, right? Oh, Squatchy for the win. Oh, make America respected again. I like that one. Pete says, make politicians afraid again. I like that one. Gypsy says, make America equal, not equity again. I like that one. Yeah, make America have common sense again. There's all make it just. There's just all kinds of things, that I think.
Any of them would be good.
Yeah, any of them would be good, and it would be awesome to see if they take it. And again, I hope that they do. There's a lot of stuff stacked against it, though, and I guess we'll just have to see, kind of how it all pans out, right? Anything else you want to talk about before I get on to all the great news? Oh, Carrie Davis, that's a good one. Make government smaller again. Oh, Grace, gratitude to Grace. Good evening to you. Says, make America moral again. Yeah, see, this is a marketing masterpiece. Trump could spin every one of these off and, find some gigantic leader who loves freedom to cheerlead, just like he did with, RFK to, make America healthy again. I love all of this. I hope that somebody out there is listening, and I hope that they can find a way to make those things work like that. Oh, Backrat says, make America make sense again. Yeah, make America looked up to again. Yeah, Dana says, make America fear God again. Yeah, Terminator says, I'm not picky. I'm not sure what breed. I've always just had mixed mutts. Yeah, I would think your homesteading crew could help you out a ton. Because if you were down here, we could get you one super easy. We could get you a guardian dog very, very
probably
easy.
Today.
Yeah, probably today. Right. Okay, well, let's. You guys want to talk about some of the interesting things that are going on in the world today? And
sure.
And I want to, before I begin all of this, I want to just kind of start it by saying that we have a very unique opportunity right here if we're smart enough to take advantage of it. And there's a lot of uncertainty that's going on in the world, and in the elections, and in just all of the different things. It's up to us to protect ourselves. It's up to us to secure our future. It's up to us to look out for us, because there is no help coming. And so if I would really encourage everybody to take everything that's going on as just extra motivation to get your butt in gear. And I'm sure we'll talk about that a lot more as time goes on. Hickshaw 54 says, make America a godly nation again. Yeah, all right. Well, I'm sure you guys have heard of this because it has been, Skanes Girl says, make love, not war again. I'm sure you guys have seen this going around because it has gotten a lot of tractions, but I thought I would dive into it a little bit for you guys. Are you guys familiar with Department of Defense Directive 5240? This has been all over. So they just recently updated. What I want you to pay attention to this, first of all, is the date. Okay. So the effective date is September 27th, 2024. Okay. So this is something they did just recently. And so this was an existing directive already. And what they did is they basically updated it. And so with your permission, what I'd like to do is just kind of share some of the updates to this directive. So this directive allows the Secretary of Defense to approve any type of request permissible as described in paragraph 3.2. What they're talking about is coming to the aid of local law enforcement, local agencies that they have now authorized the federal government to come to the aid. The decision to approve requests of these types of permissible assistance described in paragraph 3-2 to law enforcement agencies and other civil authorities. And it's really important that you understand other civil authorities, right? Because law enforcement agent, other civil authorities could be the IRS, right? Other civil authorities, I mean, really, right. It could be your local county commissioners, right? It could be any of those. the provision of personnel to support and response efforts for civil disturbances, which may require presidential authorization. The Department of Defense response to chemical, biological, radiological, nuclear, and high-yield explosive incidences. So, let me read one more, and then I'll make my point. Assistance in responding with assets. Okay, this is military gear, right? With assets, with potential for lethality, or any situation in which it is reasonably foreseeable that providing the request assistance may involve the use of force that is likely to result in lethal force, including death or serious bodily injury. It also includes all support to civilian law enforcement officials in situations where a confrontation between civilian law enforcement and civilian individuals or groups is reasonably anticipated. So let me sum all of this up. They changed this directive so that they could use lethal force on American citizens. Now, it's important to note that the Department of Defense is not a legislative body, right? So they can't just make laws. Well, instead, they just make directives. As Ron Paul said, he warns that the U.S. military was just authorized to kill Americans on U.S. soil. I think it's very, very dangerous. It's not law. It's a DOD directive. So this is the administrative state where they take over. They don't even pass laws. Let me see here. Isn't that somewhat of a violation of posse comitatus, not necessarily military, but Fed troops? It is. It actually against the Constitution, right? It violates the habeas corpus, as there you go, as Mo engineer said. Yeah, Jay John says American citizens, not illegals. Oh, but guys, there's more. But for me to get to that, I want to explain for anybody that don't know. So out of Wikipedia, the U.S. Department of Defense, or the DOD, who has that, is an executive branch. It's not a legislative branch. You guys have to understand the three branches of government: the legislative, the executive, and the judicial, all play very important roles. The legislative branch, Congress, makes laws. The executive branch, which is the president, the vice president, the cabinet, carries out the laws. And the judicial branch evaluates the laws. And so only the legislative branch should be able to make laws, but yet it doesn't stop them. That's just kind of a funny note to this. I thought you guys should know that there's 438 federal agencies now out there, and America's 248 years old, which means they're creating 2 new agencies per year over the lifetime of our country. You know, as far
that's agencies.
Yeah. But what's interesting, and Indiana Mike brought this up, I'll put this up here, is what did they remove? What did they change, right? Because they added stuff in, but guys, they also removed stuff. And I thought I would really point this out to you guys. So on your screen, what you'll see is the exact same directive, but now it's dated August the 8th, 2016. And if you really read into it, it's really important down there. It says establishes procedures to enable Department of Defense to conduct authorized intelligence activities in a manner that protects the constitutional and legal rights and the privacy and civil liberties of U.S. persons. And this line has been removed from the new one.
Wow.
So it's not just what they added.
It's what they've removed.
It's what they've removed, as Indiana Mike pointed out. And I'll read that again to you, right? I read the original directive establishes procedures to enable the Department of Defense to conduct authorized intelligence activities in a manner that protects the constitutional and legal rights and privacy and civil liberties of U.S. persons. The 2016 version was really focused on civil liberty protections, intelligent collection restrictions, privacy safeguards, as Natural News reported, things like that. But if you go back to the new one, this has all been removed, and now it's focused on actually dealing with insurrection, basically. Let's go down some comments here really quick before I make. Hey, Starlet Doke, welcome. I hope you're feeling good. Tag, does this tie into the Chevron difference? I don't know. I did not consider that, Carrie. I'm gonna have to research that. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Illegals are protected. Sanctuary states and cities ensure that they are outside the law when we aren't. I kind of got a theory about that now too, about why they're doing that, which I'll get to here in just a minute. Instead, agency, institution, regulations are not actually law. They're not law. Only the legislative branch can make law. You shared about the fight for land grab in Kansas and across the Midwest, trenching 5 miles wide. After watching Billy and Bear's YouTube looks like a land grab in Tennessee due to precious minerals. There's a lot going on down there. I'm not going to, Barbara, I'm going to touch on some of it in the live tonight, but it looks like to me there's a bunch of this kind of stuff going on all over. It's not just here. Wyoming's got a massive fire going on, right? Anyway, I'll save it for a little bit later because I've got some really interesting information that I kind of drug up. Didn't the Chevron case limit their ability to make laws this way? This is not a law. It does limit their ability to make law, Mo, but this is not a law. This is a directive. Yep, they did not prevent them from creating the directive. Chevron is dead. Agencies cannot make legislation. And again, this is why it is directive, right? It's a directive. It is not a law, but they will act on the directive because the executive branch is only directing the employees of the executive branch is only directing the employees of the executive branch. They're not making laws. Do you understand the difference?
Yeah. So then how can they get away with that? How can they get away with saying that it's just like the mask mandate?
Well, maybe
you got to
no,
get out.
It's not a law. I mean, they are not directing the American people to do anything. This is the thing you have to understand. They're not directing the American people to do anything. They're directing the employees of the Department of Defense, which the executive branch can make directives for the executive branch. It may affect every single American, right? Absolutely insane. Let me see here. Pack Rat says, Barbara, I saw their live today. Yeah, if you haven't watched Billy's and Bear Independence live that they did, I watched it as well. That was what Chevron was about. They cannot set policy outside of explicit law. Well, it says that, yeah, they can't set law, Mo. They do have the ability to create a directive that only affects the executive branch. They can't, in your particular case, they cannot set policy that affects the American citizen outside of law. And I know this is splitting hairs, but this is how they get away with it. I think this might be the biggest news of the year. Absolutely the biggest news. Carrie Davis says, I need to go back to civics class. Well, I think we all need to, because what they taught me is completely backwards, to it all. But let's keep going down this rabbit hole just a little bit. So you guys remember, hold on, let's go back a little bit further. Let's go all the way back to this one. So you remember the date, September 27th, 2024 is when they changed Department of Defense directive. And again, directive is such an important word, 5240.01, to include the use of lethal force, editing, right? Department of Defense manual. See the difference? Right? So the new one is the Department of Defense directive. The old one is Department of Defense manual.
5240.
Right. Same exact numbers, right? So they changed it to be able to include that. So then what happens? Let me see, pick a date. I think it was October 14th. Yep, October 14th, we start seeing news headlines. Oops. Why do I keep doing that? That's twice in a row. We keep seeing news headlines about suspect arrested after reports of threats towards FEMA operations in North Carolina, reported CNN. U.S. News says hurricane relief workers forced to evacuate, which, by the way, has been debunked. They didn't evacuate. And I'll actually show you some pictures here in a minute. During the threat of armed militia. And again, this is October the 14th. So this is about 16 days after the Department of Defense directive. Armed militia reported out hunting FEMA in North Carolina. And I'm sure you guys have seen some of this kind of stuff.
Yep, I did see that.
They have amazing vision to put that update out on 27 September. This is exactly my point, G. Johns, and you hit it exactly right on the head. Hicks Ross says anyone trying to enforce this needs to be introduced to a lead diet. So why doesn't the legislative branch rein them in? Because they don't want to. This is how they get around needing a vote. This is how they get around the people, right? The Department of Defense creates a directive for the employees of the Department of Defense, which they fully can do, right? Even though that directive breaks the law, which, yeah, that's just an absolute amazing side to that. The Potato said armed militia hunting FEMA causes hurricane responders to evacuate. And again, this has been debunked. What I mean by debunked is no one is evacuated. I've seen tons of reports they ain't evacuated. They didn't go anywhere. But there are some interesting steps that they're taking while all this is going on. Amuse came right back and was talking about the PSYOP that the Potato and Heels Up administration and the willing accomplices in the mainstream media are alleging that these armed militias are targeting FEMA workers in North Carolina. However, there's no photographic or video evidence of these alleged military forces have surfaced. On a lighter note, it appears that FEMA workers are nearly impossible to find in North Carolina, meaning that any potential threat posed by these supposed militias is virtually non-existent. Merry Crisis and Happy New Fear. What are you looking at me like that for?
Merry Crisis and Happy New Fear.
You like that?
No.
You don't like that?
No.
Oh.
You like that? I mean,
I think
it's
absolutely right on. I think it is absolutely 100% right on.
That's too bad.
There's so much going on, guys, with the elections and stuff going on overseas. They absolutely want to keep us all scared. People have no idea of the freedoms we have lost. Yeah, and continue to lose, huh? Hey, Craw. Right? Let's see here. So let's go. I'm going to kind of go down this just a little bit because I think it's all kind of related. Did any of you guys watch the interview that Heels Up had on Fox News with Brett Baer? Super fascinating, I thought. But so Heels Up fumes at Fox News after they had a clip ready of Trump after she claimed he called Americans the enemy within. Heels Up is the one who talks about the enemy within, and they had a clip ready for her and played it as soon as she claimed that, and she kind of lost it a little bit. They went on to say that they had friends that were in the camera crew for last night's interview with Brett Baer and Kamala Harris. Heels Up. Heels Up clearly suggested, as many people have pointed out, after the interview concluded, she apparently refused to shake Brett's hand and called him dirty. She then said, "You're just another lousy MAGA nut job." She then started to tear up and said, "We can edit this, right?" There's a bunch of reports about behind the scenes as he was asking her questions that her staffers, and there was 4 of them in particular, were waving to stop the interview. RN, have a great night and a blessed week. Yeah, Hakestraw says she never answered any questions. No, she didn't. She just spun all the way around. Screaming that presidents shouldn't. Okay, yeah, this is interesting too. So she had answered that presidents should not be locking people up from their opposition. And just so you guys know, currently that regime, right, has Trump's chief strategist is behind bars right now. And there's another one of the guys. Well, what's his name? The heavier set blonde guy. Oh, what's his name? Barr. Last name Barr. Anyway, I don't remember, but he is actually served enough time to be released, and they're holding him anyway, which I find super interesting. And then how they portray it. So if you look at CNN talked about the interview, and it's funny how they all use the same words, right? Talks about Heels Up spars with Fox News anchor in testy interview. And then if you look at NPR, their headline says Heels Up's interview on Fox gets testy, but also gives her a do-over. The Guardian's headline says Heels Up pledges break from Biden presidency in testy Fox News interview. Does anybody think it's interesting that they use testy all 3 times? Bannon, there you go, Jules. Sorry about that. Absolutely right. Steve Bannon is who I was thinking of. Yep. He is actually up for release, and they're holding him anyway. So if we as citizens don't follow directions that are not law from these federal agents, are we going to be in trouble? Well, technically the answer to that would be no, right, Jen? Because it's not a law, except they are enforcing non-laws every single day. I mean, ask Steve Bannon, right? That we were just talking about before. Right? I mean, ask people down in North Carolina that, I mean, so I would guess you'll be in trouble, right? At the very beginning, her body posture was completely closed up, protective, legs crossed and arms crossed. Gregory says her standard was the Trump presidency. She showed up late and then didn't answer questions and left. Yeah, see here, Yoda says the very minimum the government could do is be honest to residents and let them know their homes are toxic and condemned, and letting them get sick trying to put their homes back together. Yep, they want unity. However, how can we have total unity and diversity at the same time? Oh, there's another, Kerry Davis, another great example, the J6ers, right? Yeah, Starless says he was only supposed to serve 4 months. Yep, he's tied up. They don't want him out while this election is going on, right? No way. And another big debacle, by the way, I wanted to tell you guys, I could not believe happened. Did you guys watch the interview with her at a rally? And she's talking about the Roe versus Wade reversal. And so she's talking about how we can't have it, and get a choice, and all of these kind of things. And someone in the audience shouted, "Jesus is Lord." And she started ad-libbing in from them, and she goes, "Oh, I think you're at the wrong alley. I think you meant to go to the smaller one down the street." So, I mean, that's a direct attack, right, in my opinion, on Christianity. And she clearly said that Christianity isn't for the Democratic Party, right? And this is someone who's running for president, right? But she said, "Oh, I think you're at the wrong rally, and I think you meant to go to the smaller one down the street," which is 10 times bigger than hers. But
wow,
right? Can you believe she said that?
No.
I mean, you want to talk about alienating, right? Jen says Steve Bannon refused to give his proprietary property to the government, and they went after him in other ways to jail him. Yep. They're arresting more people for J6 as recently as yesterday.
Really?
Yep. Oh, babe, this is the thing, is that they weaponize everything. I mean, look at what they're doing to Elon Musk. Not just the United States, but even foreign governments are refusing to do business with him. He bid on Department of Defense contracts for SpaceX that were half the money of other bidders, and they took the other bidders. So they've weaponized all three branches, the legislative, the executive, and the judicial branch. They've weaponized it against dissenters of their opinion.
Right.
This is why I always talk to you guys about, we have got to get out of the stroke. We got to get the stroke removed, because they're going to use them against you. Right? You ever been on a live, whether it's this live or Billy's live or any of them, any of those kinds of things? They're going to weaponize all of these things to include your electricity, to include your water, to include your mortgage, to include your insurances, to include all of those things. They will weaponize them.
Your medicine.
Yep. If your medicine's another great one, if you don't share their opinion. Starless says Bannon still has a month to serve. Yeah, if he serves his whole term, he does. But he is eligible for release right now. Yep. Kerry Davis says Kamala meets karma at some point. Yeah, you hope, right? Tulip Little Angel, how are you? Says she's not a Christian, is married to a fake Jew. Maybe she's Hindu. Who knows, right? Who knows? Yeah. Jules says Starley, he's eligible for release under the First Step Act. Yes, he is.
She comes out and says she's not a Christian?
Well, I mean, she just said, when someone says Jesus is Lord,
I know.
Right? She said, I think you're at the wrong end.
Says that.
Right. I have not heard her say she was or was not. Yet he is the only one who can rescue the stranded astronauts. Right. Right. And then palm to the head. 100% agreed. Yeah, they liked Musk until he endorsed Trump. That's 100% correct.
Right.
Hey, Kevin, how are you? Says they are not Democrats. They are demon rats. I like that. Even the jackass want removed from being their motto. Only thing left for their ideas is called a steaming pile of skit. Unfortunately, Kevin, I'm going to tell you, they got some other ideas, right? Which we'll obviously talk about.
They're all skit.
Right. They'll weaponize the 500 ordinances in towns and 350 at my current situation. Yes, they will. They'll weaponize all of it. This is why we always talk about get rid of the stroke. Because the more of that you get rid of, the less fronts you have to worry about.
Yeah.
Right. If they want to come after my farm, well, how would they do it? Right. Well, they would make it that I couldn't grow anything, or I couldn't get seeds, or we don't use fertilizer that's not on the farm, but let's just say fertilizer. But they would, make it to where, those kinds of things were illegal. They would make it to where my mortgage went up, my insurance rates went up because of my views, right? They would make it to these things. And if I can't withstand those kinds of things, if I can't adapt to those things, or more importantly, if I'm fighting all of those things
at one time,
you're it makes it very, very hard.
Yeah.
Right.
Or you can't have cell phone service.
Yeah, G. Johnson, she didn't go to the Catholic dinner yesterday. First one to not go in many years. Yeah, actually, I've got some interesting quotes from that. Trump was hilarious. And you guys know I'm not a Trump fan, but he was quite the comic at that dinner. But I cannot believe that she said that when someone said Jesus is Lord, that they were at the wrong rally. Like that blew me away, even for her. I'm going to kind of get to some of the stuff that worries me a little bit, but Biden confessed his plan to imprison Trump after the election. That he's still facing 19 charges. And I've heard many of politicians now talk about how it doesn't matter if he wins, because even if he wins, he's illegitimate. And so they're already setting the stage for being able to remove him from office. But if they remove him from office, he's got a lot of really loyal followers. What are they going to do about that? And so I would remind you guys back all the way here. What are they going to do about it? Department of Defense Directive 5240.01, right? Again, would be a great reason to put things like that, in place. Insurrection Barbie reported, I'm honestly thinking of posting this clip of Rep. Raskin telling the American public that he could care less if they vote and overwhelmingly elect Trump, because the party that protects democracy is going to actually commit an insurrection and once again try to override the will of the American people. I think we all need a daily reminder of what it is that we are voting to stop. Tyrant alert. Biden pledges to throw Trump in prison just 19 days from the election as a panic political admits massive victory by 45. Biden says the quiet part out loud, admits the Department of Justice is working to jail Trump. This is what I'm talking about, right? This is how they weaponize the executive branch, the judicial branch. Look what's going on. Let's talk about all of them real quick. The executive branch. This is how they go after Trump, right? And just like the stuff that they're talking about here, the judicial branch, they're going after, right, the Supreme Court. They're trying to add, 6 or 8 more Supreme Court justices, in an effort to, tackle that. The legislative branch, right? I mean, Congress, they've done nothing for ever, right? Let me see here. Where did I leave off? Okay, right there. Instigator says, be careful. If your pond has water all year, it might be navigable waters in the U.S. Right. That's exactly what I'm talking about, right? Those are our waters. You can't collect rainwater, right? You're hurting the watershed, right? Anyone else thought about Hollywood movies made in the past and that reflect on what's going on now? Yeah. Which ones you got in mind? But yeah, there's a bunch of them out there. Watch them capture his rocket booster with a feat. Yeah, that was pretty cool. Why do I feel like the consequences are already coming down? It's because they are. I mean, Yoda, you witness them at the local level, right? That the corruption and that stuff's been going on for a long time, and it infiltrated a long time ago, and it's been infiltrating down all the way in to those things. Yep. Mo says fighting for democracy, right? Right. It's so amazing. I watched Obama town hall meeting, and everybody behind him, and obviously you guys know all this stuff is staged, was holding freedom signs.
Yeah.
The Democrats, the party of freedom. Raskin said they would not certify the vote. That's right. And so I think maybe the plan here is let's try to cheat. And if the victory's too big and we can't win, right, then we'll lock him up because he was never legitimate anyway. But if we do that, we got to deal with the American people. Let's make sure we put some laws in place, right, that'll help deal with that, which they did.
Yep.
Yeah. Starla says, tag, did you see Schumer and Trump talking last night? Yeah, isn't it interesting to watch them as when that dinner was going on, laughing and joking and playing like they're buddies? They get on camera, they hate each other. Yeah, the deep state's deep, you guys, and it goes down both sides.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, Gregory says they will not let him be president one way or another. Oh, Gregory, the Wizard of Oz.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Tag, so what happens if Trump's elected and in prison? Then does J.D. Vance take president? I think that is a logical answer. Or they'll say that the election wasn't fair, we need to do it again. Right? But J.D. Vance is an interesting case, too, because, he's got a CIA background and reminds me a lot. And I think I've talked about this on the channel before. Reminds me a lot of the Richard Nixon thing. Richard Nixon had Agnew as the vice president. The IRS went after him for tax evasion, booted him out, inserted Ford. Fast forward a little bit. Watergate happens. They remove President Nixon. Now Ford is the very first president to be president without ever receiving a single vote. And so it kind of reminds me of those things just a little bit. Zeg says Atlas Shrugged Directive 10-242. I think that was the number. I don't remember which that is off. 242. Yeah, Mo Engineer says Atlas Shrugged. Yep, Gregory says Fahrenheit 451. Anyone remember when Biden said he would use nuclear detonation on American soil? I don't, but I'd love to see that clip. I've heard that he had said that, but I had not seen that personally. Alex Jones fires off a chilling warning to America. He says that once Trump becomes president, all Black Lives Matter, Antifa, and all of these Islamic hordes that are allied with the left will engage in massive civil unrest. What makes the scenario even more terrifying is that Senator Richard Blumenthal, okay, and you guys know who he is, right, is working on a bill to cripple Trump's ability to respond to civil unrest. This is really important to hear this. What the bill means, if passed, is that Trump will be left powerless in the face of widespread violence. Blumenthal's legislation is designed to handcuff the president by requiring approval from Congress before the military can be deployed to deal with domestic threats.
Oh my gosh.
The trigger to the unrest could be the election, of course. However, Alex Jones also warned that the incident like the one we saw with George Floyd could be exploited again. What about if Trump loses? That's where Department of Defense Directive 5240.01 turns into a nightmare. So what they're saying basically is, if Trump loses, 5204 allows martial law, allows them to take the next step of the New World Order, right? And the Agenda 30 that they're talking about. If he does win and they can't remove him, they'll strip his ability to do anything about it. What the directive does is that it gives the Department of Defense the power to step in and use lethal force within U.S. borders. You know, we already covered this, even against its own citizen when it deems lives are at risk. The scope of this authority is chilling because the directive specifically states that the decision to use lethal force only needs to be the Secretary of Defense approval. Once legal force is approved, anything can happen. For years, Mr. Jones has warned us about these things, and we hope that he gets it wrong. Okay, let me see. Masio Parrott said, did you hear about the attack on the Internet Archives? I did not. Yep. G. John says, I was thinking kill a mockingbird with the riots. Jen says, YouTube channel Salty Cracker has a load of old Biden videos and clips. He also has a Rumble channel. Wag the Dog and the Manchurian Candidate. Did they liquidate all of Alex Jones' assets? Not yet, but he was talking tonight about how he thinks that they're going to make another run at it. G. John says Mockingbird meant the Hunger Games series. Yeah. Hey, one more rock. Says, hey, all sorry I'm tardy. We are getting ready to enter territory that civilians have never seen before. That's right. I think that's said really well. I'm going to leave that up there, one more rock. And I think the thing I would ask all of you tonight on the live is, what are you doing about it?
What are you doing about it?
All right. So, you know, they talked about, Alex was talking about how all of the immigrants and all of that stuff that have come over, right, that they're going to all band together and create civil unrest. The Daily Mail reported that evil super gang sees 4 more apartment complexes in Texas City. Right? You guys have seen a lot of that stuff going on. And Ryan Matta said 5 million plus mercenaries dressed like civilians will be, not did, right, will be invading America over the next 90 days. The cartels have now authorized their soldiers to, I'm not going to use this word, attack U.S. law enforcement and National Guard. Mo says, what about Terminator? Yeah, Skynet, right? Yeah, Blumenthal's an idiot anyway. Yeah, but an idiot with power is still a senator, right? Congressman. Let's see here. Interesting. Alex Jones a little bit later reported that the deep state is desperate and could stage an attack on Heels Up to swap her out before the election. This is the first that I had heard of anything like this. And I don't know if you guys were watching the Ethel Kennedy service or not. And this has been all over the internet too, but it caught Biden and Obama in a conversation, and you couldn't hear them. But so then they went and hired some lip reading experts. And let's see here. He says, I know that's true. This is the lip reader, right? The popular former president agreed, adding, we have time. Yeah, we'll get it in time, says Biden, who was forced by fellow Democrats to relinquish his party's nomination in favor for Harris on July 21st in a mutiny that Obama was believed to support. Moments earlier, Obama said, it's important that we have some time together, in a possible reference to campaigning alongside Harris. The dialogue was translated by the Post by Jeremy Freeman, a London-based forensic lip reader who was born deaf and for 16 years served at the University of College of London, certified expert witness for litigations, police, and journalists. The New York Post hired the professional lip reader to analyze the interaction yesterday at Ethel Kennedy's memorial between Barack and Biden. And Biden says, she's not as strong as me, to which Obama replies, I know that's true. We have time. Yeah, trying to slip in Big Mike, says Kerry Davis. So crazy. Just absolutely so crazy. Did you see the interview with Vance where the interviewer said there were only 4 apartment complexes taken over to Aurora? And he said, are you listening to yourself and how stupid you sound? No, I did not see that. Yeah. And how can they not certify an election when we are the majority? If they think it was cheated, they wouldn't certify it, right? That's not true. Willie Hose said it was just Trump trying to start trouble. No apartments were taken over, and don't believe the people who live there or the videos. Right. Why would you believe the videos, right? Although with AI, it's kind of hard to tell these days. The president of the Senate certifies the votes. Who is the current president of the Senate? That would be Heels Up. G. Johnson said Vance interview last Sunday. Isn't that crazy how Harris, the current president of the Senate, will be the one who certifies the election? Isn't that lovely? Oh, yeah. Okay. Let's just keep it trucking. So I don't know if you guys know this or not, but you guys know who this is right here? Strategic Security Corp. This is just snip clipped right off of their website. This is the private security firm who is providing security for FEMA in North Carolina, Georgia, South Carolina, and Florida. This is who FEMA has hired. This is a private security organization. This is not the U.S. military, right? It's just private. I think it's important to know that this is what happened. So I was watching a whole bunch of videos. These are just pictures of them. But FEMA's building a couple sites there in North Carolina. What they're saying is, and these are actually the FEMA people, as I watched it, what they said was that they were building facilities for FEMA personnel, so they have someplace to stay so they don't have to fill up the hotels that the people need so badly. Makes sense, right? But they confirmed they are building several of these sites. And the 2022 to 2026 FEMA strategic plan outlines 3 bold, ambitious goals in order to position FEMA to addressing the increasing range of complexity of disasters, to support the diversity of communities we serve, and complement the nation's growing expectations of the emergency management community. The NSGP supports FEMA's efforts to install equity as a foundation of emergency management, as well as to promote and sustain a ready FEMA and prepared nation. We invite our stakeholders and partners to participate. And so when you pull up to these places, there are armed contractors, which I find just amazing, that were hired to protect the FEMA people. I found a very interesting picture. If you look at the top left, that was a tornado shelter that was coming in to North Carolina. And that's, you can see one of the contractors standing there. And it actually says down the side, tornado shelter. And just out of curiosity, why do you think they would need a tornado shelter in North Carolina? Would be my first question. Maybe it's not a tornado shelter. Maybe they want it as a safe room. Not sure. Or maybe it's because, as what you guys were talking about earlier, maybe it's because of something much bigger. Okay, where are we at here? If I missed you guys, I'm sorry. Mo says, I think Biden should resign his last day to get Kamala to be the president for a day. His DEI hire would now be the first woman president, taking that away from the Dems that hosed him. Not a bad idea. They're not going to relinquish their power without them creating drastic measures. They don't go by the law. I agree with One More Rock. I could not agree with you more. I think it's exactly the truth. Mario says we can just get a DeLorean and have Doc Brown fix this. Yeah. Yeah, I love Mario. I absolutely agree with him. Absolutely agree with him. Kerry Davis, I don't think there's one single person as the president right now. It's the deep state. I would agree with that. Yeah, portable shower. Yeah, it's definitely not a portable shower. But again, as I mentioned, maybe there's more to it than that, right? North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper has urged Hurricane Helene victims not to rebuild their homes at all, suggesting they seek buyouts instead. He revealed that plans are already in place for local governments to address this situation. So the governor, the North Carolina governor, who's a Democrat, by the way, is urging the victims of the hurricane not even to rebuild, just sell their home, take the buyout, and move to a safer place. This could be caused by a lot of things, right? There's lots of stories about lithium mines and quartz mines and all of this stuff, but there's some other stuff coming out that I find interesting, which is all the sicknesses. And Danny and Bear talked about the silt being toxic and about all of this stuff. And so I did a little digging to see if I could find any articles. And just today, I found these articles. Infections, sewers, and mosquito-borne illnesses outlast the hurricane, says USA Today. As Helene's immediate impact recedes, a public health threat rises, says MSN. And amid the rubble in Marshall, residents caution about toxic conditions amid Helene cleanup. So is it a land grab? Is it because there's some big toxic spill they don't want us to know about? Who knows, right? But at the end of the day, I think for the governor to tell these people to sell their house, for FEMA to hire government contractors to come in to secure and start hauling in shelters, whether they be tornado shelters or safe rooms, I think is absolutely bad. Not to mention the lack of help and the things that Bear and Billy say. And you guys, I know both Bear and Billy, and neither one of them seem like liars to me. I mean, they both seem to have credibility. I know Billy better than I know Bear, but I kind of trust what they're telling me. And if you guys have not watched that video, you need to. Kerry Davis said, governor must be a stockholder. Yep. LJC said, you missed instigator's reference like a Holocaust shower. Oh, ouch. Yes, LJC, I missed his reference. Yeah. Take him to the
portable shower.
Yeah, take him to the showers. Right. Yeah, land grab again. Ask Lahaina residents how that worked out. Yeah, but they got $750, Jen.
No, not everybody.
Right.
And even those are the ones that did, it's a loan.
Yeah.
But not everybody got it. Some people got 300. Yeah,
what a absolute mess. G. John says rare earth metal mining in U.S. is a distraction. They will ship it to China to use chemicals to extract the minerals, just like we ship all our recycled plastic to China for them to incinerate, right? Because we can't be the one polluting the atmosphere, but it's okay if they do it, right? Because,
good grief.
Right, what a scam. 8 hours later, I made it to my daughter's. Thank goodness for the good news section to keep me awake. Skanes girl, I'm here for you. I gotcha. Yes, I watched Bear and Billy today. It was interesting. Yeah, and I would encourage everybody to go watch it. Make sure you comment in the comments. Tell them Tag sent you. Jules says Pentagon just signed a $90 million contract with BlackRock for the lithium mine. It was about 2 weeks ago when they did that. And yeah, it's funny how the government signed a $90 million contract with BlackRock for a lithium mine that's owned by a bunch of these residents, right?
Right. Well, they don't have the right to do that.
Well, except they're going to get bought out, right? They're going to look for a buyout instead, which will be pennies on the dollar, right? What a mess. Camel Toe's husband has a vested interest in the mining stock. Actually, he's one of the larger shareholders of that company, as I understand it. I think I talked about that last week or the week before. One of those. All right, ready to change the topic? I think we should get on to some good stuff. What do you think? Good news.
Yes.
Because that was all depressing.
Yes.
Okay, in just 9 days, you guys, 9 days, there's a big deal coming. Now, this was 2 days ago, so the truth is you only have 7 days.
7.
But BRICS nations are meeting in Russia 7 days from today. And what they're going to talk about is creating an alternative to the dollar. So in just 9 days, everything changes for the U.S., Russia, and the BRICS nations are set to unveil a gold-backed currency at their massive October summit, which ironically is just before our election. While NATO ramps up nuclear exercises as a deterrent, buckle up, it's about to get real. Ukraine is now asking for nuclear weapons. Alternative to the dollar, the decision of the BRICS summit will have serious consequences to the United States. Guys, this is going on in 7 days. 7 days. G. John says BlackRock is very optimistic, made trillions. Yeah, no doubt, huh? Hakesraw says Psalms 2, evil men wax worse. Well, not made trillions, but 12.3 trillion under their oversight, right? Thanks for clarifying that. That makes me feel much better, G. Johns. So we have BRICS. They're going to meet. They're going to try to create an alternative to the dollar. If they're successful in replacing the reserve currency as the dollar, this whole system is going to come clashing down because you guys, and I've talked about this many times, our system is built on infinite growth. Money is an illusion, right? Because you make a dollar, they tax 59 cents. The 41 cents that's left over, you take to the plumber. The plumber then gets the same 59-cent treatment. Then they take it to wherever, the same 59 treatment, 3 or 4 transactions. It's all back to the federal government. So what's the point of money? Well, the point of money is that what it does is it keeps the machine turning, right? Because you take your money and give it to the plumber, and the plumber pays his bills, which you pay the next bill, which pay the next bill, which pay the next bill, and it rolls and it turns and it rolls and it turns and it rolls and it turns, which the whole time they're leveraging, right? Because the banks only have to keep a small amount of money, and so they get to create money and they get to create this thing turning. Money itself, as we know it, is an illusion. It's not real. If it was real, then they wouldn't be able to get it all back in 3 transactions. But it keeps it rolling. But this is only possible as long as the United States and the dollar is the reserve currency. Where am I lost it? Right here, Starla. Okay, says lasagna residents. Lasagna? Received a lot of money. Oh, yeah, she's talking about the Hawaiian ones, I think. The lawyer handling the wildfires is from L.A. He is one lawyer handling cases from there. Firewall caused by electrical lines. Some people I know are Bear Independent Grindstone Ministries. Yeah, Hakeshaw said, could that be the October surprise? Well, they're meeting, right? It's 7 days from today. Jen says Brazil, Russia, China, South Africa, Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and United Arab Emirates. These are the countries that are in BRICS. Well, actually, they're announcing at the meeting the new participants. New participants will be announced at the BRICS summit. This is important because the expansion of membership is a key condition for launching its viable payment system, right? So we're about to find out, Jen, who else is there. How's that? Is that better news? Do you like that one better?
They would all just go use that money instead.
Which means then they get to decide the game, the rules of the game, and then we have to play by it. Right? The company here in Texas is part of the same company that caused the fires in Lahaina. Okay, got it. The electrical lines caused the wildfires in Hawaii and here in Texas. All right. So while everybody is struggling in North Carolina and all of those things, I thought you guys would be happy to know that FEMA's on the case. And apparently there's plenty of stuff going around because the Biden administration and Kamala Harris announced another $4.25 million to the Ukraine. Also today, unpaid American volunteers, not FEMA, are out with dogs still searching for dead Americans in Marshall, North Carolina after Hurricane Helene. You do not hate the Kamala administration enough. Well, I would argue it's the Biden administration, but for them to give $425 million to the Ukraine while saying they are out of money for FEMA to help Americans should infuriate every single American. Let's see here. LJC says if Mexico is included, we are screwed even more. Yeah, Mexico, India is a big one to be in there too, right? But they're already there. But these are major countries that have serious power when combined. Not just power. What else they have is serious natural resources. You know, if you look at where the natural resources across the world comes from, right? Yeah, I hear the train whistle. It's going to be quite a wreck. Yeah, Jen, go and look up at the commodities and the natural resources those countries have. In talking about this is just all oddball news that I found to be interesting as we work to get out of here tonight. But Nicole Shanahan, they were talking about how is America going to make, or how's the Trump administration with RJK going to make America healthy again? And I loved her answer. She said, the first thing we're going to do is stop censoring scientists that are telling us the causes of these diseases. I thought that was an excellent answer. You guys know earlier we were talking about that Trump had a speech at a Catholic dinner, and Harris didn't show up, and that's probably because of the comments she made about Jesus is Lord that we talked about earlier. But the guy was on a roll. He was actually cracking me up. I thought I'd share a couple of them with you. But if you guys haven't watched it, go to YouTube and watch his entire speech at the Catholic. It was funny. I don't know why he was being funny that day, but he was absolutely being funny. I'll give you some of the quotes. President Trump says there's a group called White Dudes for Harris, but I'm not worried about them at all because their wives and their wives' lovers are all voting for me. She says Chuck Schumer is looking very grim, which if you look, this is the middle row, bottom picture. You can see Trump Schumer with his fists up because he actually made him laugh. But he says Chuck Schumer is looking very glum. But look on the bright side, Chuck. Considering how woke your party has become, if Kamala loses, you still have a chance to become the first woman president, which I thought was hilarious. But if you guys haven't, dude, he was on a roll, man. If you guys have not watched it, go watch it. It was super interesting, and Trump obviously
was he supposed to be roasting people?
Yeah, I think so. But actually, him and Schumer were laughing together, and he opened it with, "I love every opportunity to come to New York City. This is my home, especially when I'm not under an indictment or an investigation."
Oh, right.
That's how he opened the conversation with. But it was pretty funny. Let's see here. LJC says Mexico has the largest silver mines, and they are on our border. Oh, sorry, they were talking here in Texas and in Hawaii. They're getting money from Ella Tribal Company. Average payout in Lahana is over $1 million. They want one world order no matter what. Yep. And guys right here, they're going to do everything they can to get it. Right. I don't know if you guys heard this or not, but there was actually a guy in England this week who was actually convicted of a thought crime.
He thought about it, huh?
No, they forbid him from silent praying, and he did it anyway.
How do they know that he's silent praying?
Yeah, probably because he put his hands together and lowered his head and said it in his head. But he was actually convicted. Mr. Adams has been convicted of a thought crime for silently praying in his head. We have forgotten our principles upon which this great nation was built.
Oh my gosh, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, so this guy's going to serve jail time for private praying. Think about how that, follow that.
Well, they say that the crazier it gets.
Yep. Every society that collapses, in the final days of the collapse, the laws become more absurd.
More absurd.
So you guys know we talked about FEMA camps being built, and we talked about migrants coming in and civil unrest and all of this stuff. You guys, it is not just a coincidence that over the last 3 weeks the Biden administration has spent $500 billion in 3 weeks.
On what?
All of their things.
Oh, giving it all to the people.
Well, they're sending some to the Ukraine, but I'll guarantee you they're also preparing. I mean, right? The Department of Defense directives and all of the things that are going on. They have spent $500 billion in 3 weeks. And we were already $36 trillion in debt. 36, 37, potato. What's the difference, right? Let's see here. Jen says, sounds like that Tom Cruise movie combined with 1984. Yep, it was a super roaster. Yeah. Government's fiscal year starts in October, hence the initial bump, 1.8 trillion over budget last year and half due to the interest on the debt. We can't even hardly service the interest on the debt anymore. Starla says, watch the one of him roasting Clinton in 2017. I thought it was hilarious, and it just absolutely made me laugh. Okay. I got to be careful of this one. This one keeps getting me in trouble. But the WHO director, I'm not going to mention him. It's time to be more aggressive in pushing back on the anti-vaxxers. So I don't know about you guys, but if any of that applies to any of you guys out there, we're beginning to hear more push. And why would they do that, right? Especially now, you would think they'd back off a little bit and let some of that stuff heal. But apparently they're going to double down on it. Wide Awake Media said that Archbishop Vigano, I don't know how to say his name, but the WEF is threatening world leaders into carrying out the new Great Reset. And guys, this is what I believe is really going on, is you have forces on one side trying to create a whole new world. in the Great Reset and the New World Order. And I'm sure many of them think it's absolutely the greatest thing ever. And then you have the other ones trying to hold on to what they had or what was. It is a global coup d'etat against which is essential that people rise up. Those who govern nations have all become either enslaved or blackmailed by this international mafia. Get to my comments here. Let me see. Obama did a lot of serious peddling as he was going out as well. Yeah, I would argue he's still super in charge. Hickshaw said, I heard a prediction of thought crimes over 15 years ago. Looks like now it's a reality. I can't believe that you could get in trouble for thought crimes, right? Don't forget that a lot of the Ukraine money makes it back to the U.S. Well, I would argue that not a lot of it, all of it, because it don't actually go to the Ukraine. It goes to American defense contractors, which then rebuild our military, and they send the old stuff to the Ukraine. You see the meme, therefore I am, posted last month. Amish registered 180,000 new voters.
Oh, I don't think so.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's true or not, but I find that super interesting.
I wish.
The libs of TikTok, a California teacher, had students do a mock vote. And so they had a ballot. And those who voted for Heels Up were rewarded with a pizza party, while those voting for Trump were not. You believe that?
No.
Well, it was reported. California, now this is verified what I'm about to tell you, so you know. But California is establishing universal basic income. But for any of you white people out there, you are excluded. Illegal immigrants will be eligible. Sacramento County, our 5-county board representative just voted to establish a universal basic income pilot program that serves people of color, right, but does not serve white people. So if you're poor in Sacramento County, if you live under the federal poverty line, you can now receive $725 per month payments for 12 months. That is, unless your family happens to be a poor white family. I also found that Hispanics were left out. So we got white people and Hispanics aren't eligible, but illegal immigrants will be eligible for this money, right? We are living in 1984. One of the promoters of BLM, one of the organizers, says, and I quote, if somebody decides to loot Gucci, that's reparations. And what she was talking about was that these companies, they have insurance companies. So if you're going to break into a store and steal Gucci bags and whatever it is, go do it. Knock yourself out. This is reparations and you're owed. It's owed to you to go get it back. Yep. Let's see here. Where did I leave out? Right here. Starla says 35.68 trillion. Utterly ridiculous. We have to balance our checkbook. Why don't they? Because it's your checkbook. See, that's the difference, Starla. We have to balance ours and they get to play with ours. They don't have to balance shit. Yeah, Yoda says, kill me now. I pray for all of us all the time. Joel says it's true. Scott Pressler has been talking a lot about the Amish. They're absolutely for Trump. Hakeshaw says the teacher was buying votes. It's all biblical, says Starla. That's all I can say. Carrie Davis says, I identify as a minority. I wonder how well that will work. Because if that's your real picture in your thumbnail, you won't qualify. Oh, sorry, right here. Scott Pressler, yes, is actually registering Amish to vote. Very surprising. Amish never vote. It's against their doctrine. What a world we live in. Oh, okay. I think that's the last slide I'm going to cover tonight, except for having a little conversation with all you wonderful people. So I think, guys, at the end of the day, there's a lot of craziness going on around us. And I don't know of a better time to get motivated. Right?
Yeah.
Why don't you talk about this a little bit? Because this is a lot up your alley, too.
To get motivated?
Yeah, what do you have to say to all of this? And what are your parting words?
Put it to action. Don't be, shouldn't be a lack of motivation.
Yeah, there definitely shouldn't be. And all the great thoughts in the world, right, will do nothing if you don't put action to it. It's funny. I've spoke all over the country about, people ask me about how do you build community. I always tell them it's easy. It's just be intentional. You make it part of your everyday chore. You don't let a day go by without you investing some type of energy capital into building community. But this is true, is just simply being prepared, right? Put action in it every single day. I mean, what what did you do today to be better prepared if any of this stuff comes true? And even if it don't, you're better off.
Right.
Right? What's going to happen in the spring? Are you prepared to plant your garden in the spring?
Do you have seeds?
Do you have seeds? Right. Do you have the things that you need? Are you ready? I mean, what if there is a bunch of civil unrest and all of a sudden you can't get anything? Are you ready? Do you have
If
that?
a bunch of people show up and you're like, oh no, now I have to feed them too.
Yeah. I mean, are we thinking this far out in advance? You know, because I would be. I am. I can assure you of that. Let's see here. G. John says, I'm old enough to remember that George Zimmerman, who killed Trayvon Martin, was called a white Hispanic.
A white Hispanic.
Yeah, right. That is against the 14th Amendment. I hope someone will take California to the Supreme Court. I hope they'll listen. There was also a parent who got a call from her 17-year-old that the daughter had been forced to register to vote and had to register as a Democrat. Yeah, part of me, Masio, parent, thinks we should all go register as Democrats. Right? Everybody. Or even better yet, what would even be better is if every single American would register unaffiliated and don't let them try to make, to guess anymore. We'll tag with your thoughts of the military sending old military surplus to the Ukraine. What are the chances that they send over Sleepy Joe? Yeah, probably 0. Right? Southern saying, pee or get off the pot. Well, our founding fathers once said, if there shall be trouble, let it be in my time, so my children know peace. And I would much rather, if there was going to be trouble, that they would get on with it so that my children can someday know peace. I think mental illness and absurdity has taken over absolute nonsense. Yeah.
Right.
The thing is, what do we do about it? Do we become paralyzed by all the good news that Tag shares with us every single week? Or do we go do something about it, right? Do we put action behind it? I think that's really the key to it. Because I promise you guys, we do this live, and it's actually good for me. I get to catch up on the news as I prepare and all of those things. But tomorrow morning, when the sun comes up, my butt will be out there working.
Back working.
I'll be trying to get just a tiny bit freer. I'll be trying to remove one extra piece of stroke. I'll be trying to help benefit my community in some way. We'll be preserving food. We'll be doing whatever, firewood. We'll be doing all of those things that we need to do to make sure that we can withstand longer, that we can remove the stroke, and that we can be just a little bit freer. And I think B said it best. There should be no lack of motivation today. Right? I can't think of a crazier time. Can you guys?
Not
to
yet.
be alive. I've been a prepper a long time. I can't think of a time ever like what is there. I hope we make it to this beautiful training class Joe Salatin's going to do to the Midwest Preparedness Project in May. And I'm sure we will. But we got to be smart about it too, because who knows what's coming. And I promise you guys this, the powers that be will not give up power without a fight. They're going to do everything they can do. And what that entails, couldn't tell you. I can't, I'm not, a fortune teller. But you get an opportunity now. I really encourage you not to be looking in the mirror someday saying, I wish I would have done. Right?
Right.
Jen says, back to the grind. Storm Rider says, God bless. One more rock says, make hay when the sun shines. Yoda says, the local government has already said we the people are nothing more than credit cards. I would not mind helping people if it was reciprocal to some point. Yeah, we got to go out and find the right people. When I was doing the interview today with the Texas boys, they asked what made our community so special. And I said, it's full of leaders. I'm not the guy. I get a lot of credit for it, but the truth is I'm not what makes it go. What makes it go is all the great leaders who make it go. The ones who take on this challenge or that challenge or whatever it is, so that I can continue to build and do those kinds of things. And so you surround yourself with the right people, and it really isn't that hard.
Because they want to be a part of it. It's because they want to be.
Well, it's important to them.
Yes.
They see what I see. We don't always agree on everything, but I promise you what they see is that there's trouble
The
ahead.
big picture.
And we're much stronger together. So I think my parting words to you guys is you weed a garden because you want the produce. Make getting prepared, make building community part of your everyday process. Do something every single day. And guys, if you have to write a sticky note on your mirror where you brush your teeth every single night that says, am I proud of my efforts today? Then you do exactly that. Whatever you have to do to get busy, go do it, because we got interesting times coming. I'll see you guys on Friday. Get out.
Next Friday.
Next Friday, a week from today.
Be out.